I'd like to do two more examples where we add or subtract signed numbers, but in this lecture I'd like to do fractions. Okay, so let's take a look at a couple examples. My first example, negative 1/3 plus 3/7. Okay, so we want to go ahead and simplify this little expression here. Now we're going to follow the same rules as before, okay, except when we deal with fractions we have to do one extra step. All right, so what we have to do, if you remember from way back when we first learned how to add fractions, we must find the common denominator. In other words, what number does both 3 and 7 go into? And usually we like to find the lowest common denominator. So what is the smallest number that a 3 and a 7 will both divide into? Well, we know that a 3 and a 7 will both go in to 21. So when we combine fractions, what we have to have here, we have to have the identical denominators. So how do we do that? Well, what we want to do, we want to multiply this first expression by a nice form of 1. So I'm going to choose to multiply the numerator and the denominator by 7 over 7. Now notice 7 divided by 7 is just 1. And I can always multiply a number by 1. That's not going to change the number. So if I multiply this expression by 7 over 7, I'm going to get negative 7 on the top over 21. Okay. Now I'll do the same thing to the second expression. Remember, I want to get a 21 down here. So I'll multiply this by 3. That'll give me a 21. But if I multiply the denominator by 3, I got to multiply the numerator by 3. And again, 3 over 3 is just 1, so that will not change the value of that expression. 3 times 3 is 9. 7 times 3 is 21. Now notice I have the exact same denominators. Now we can combine the fractions. And just like before, when we did integers, we take the difference in the absolute values. So let's go ahead and look at the absolute value of the first one, 7/21. Absolute value of the second one is 9/21. Okay. And remember what we do? We subtract the smaller one from the larger one. So 9/21 minus 7/21 is 2/21. We keep the denominator. All we do is combine the numerators. Okay? And remember what we do? We keep the sign of the larger value. And the larger value is positive. Therefore, this is positive. Well, we usually don't write the little plus sign there. So negative 7/21 and a positive 9/21 gives us a positive 2/21. But the first thing we had to do was change all the denominators to be the same. All right, let's try one more. This time I have an expression with 3 terms here. Remember, I can always write negative 5 as negative 5 over 1. Okay? So let's go ahead and try to figure out what the lowest common denominator is. I'll abbreviate that LCD. Well, what number does a 1, a 5, and a 6 all go into? Well, that number is going to be 30. So we need to change all our denominators so that they have a value of 30 in the denominator. All right, so let's go ahead. I want a 30 in this denominator. So I need to multiply the top and bottom by 30. Okay. And I get negative 5 times 30 is negative 150. 1 times 30 is 30. Okay. Now I'll go ahead and change the next one to 30ths. So I need to multiply that by a 6 down there to get 30. And then I better multiply the top by a 6. 3 times 6 is 18. 30ths. And then finally, I need a 30 in this denominator here. So I need to multiply it by 5. And I need to multiply the numerator by 5. And now I'm ready. Now all my denominators are the same. Now I can combine. So what I think I will do is I will first simplify the first two, and then I'll go ahead and combine it with negative 5/30. Well, remember to do this. I take the difference in the absolute value, okay? So I take 150 over 30 minus 18 over 30, which is negative 132 over 30, okay? Because I have to keep the sign of the larger value. Again, I'm combining these two, okay? So I take the difference in their absolute values, which is 132 over 30, but I take the sign of the larger number. You can go ahead and review the previous lecture, okay? I'm kind of doing little shortcuts here. Okay. Now, remember what we do when the signs are the same. We combine the absolute values. We just take 132 over 30 and combine it with a 5 over 30, and I keep the sign. Okay. So, notice this expression here, our original expression, simplifies to negative 137 over 30. And the trick is, remember, you first have to get a common denominator. Okay. Once you do that, you can just follow the same steps as before. Here I combine the first two, okay, to get negative 132 over 30. Then I combine it with the last term to get negative 137 over 30. Okay.